Oh my! Looks like you've caught the eye of our little vampire, Missy. Isn't that great? What? Don't you like the fact that a girl's interested in you? It's not something to feel glum over, you know. Well, I guess. Well, it is an honor. To be honest, I just want to get out of here instead of dealing with that. So you want to quickly leave? I hope you can still feel that way after you've had your final battle with her. Huh? If you lose to her, you won't ever feel that way ever again. That little Missy intends on putting a complete charm on you. Complete charm? It's a kind of charm sorcery which creates a connection between your hearts and can never be removed. It creates a similar effect to love, causing you to feel absolute loyalty towards her. Even as a vampire, it's not a technique she can use more than once in her lifetime. She's chosen you to be her right hand. I've heard there are many humans who would willingly choose to be on the receiving end of that sorcery. For those adherents of the dark arts, the honor of becoming the manservant of a pure-blood vampire would make them happy enough to cry. Surely you can take a little pride in knowing that. Making this decision was probably a pretty huge deal for her. I have to go home as soon as possible. Well, I understand where you're coming from, but is there a reason you're in such a hurry? Yes. I have to prepare Master's dinner for her. Ugh. I was planning on making a dish with shiitake and ram's head mushrooms. She was really looking forward to it. Also, if I'm not there to keep her company while she drinks at home, she gets in a bad mood all night. What do I do? I wonder if I can get back home before curfew. Rather than a once-in-a-lifetime chance at a special courtship, you're more worried about doing your nightly chores? Oh. Oh. Did you see the face of that little vampire Missy made? She was like, "What? How did you brush aside my sorcery?" What a truly sad, pathetic look she had on her face. What a feast for the eyes it was. You really did your duty well, giving her pride a bloody nose like that. Thanks to you, her haughtiness might have mellowed out just a little. I don't think it has. Oh, and how do you know that? Well, for someone who's normally that stuck up and arrogant, I don't think losing once or even twice is enough to put a dent in their attitude. Oh? Sounds like you're speaking from experience. Are you already well acquainted with that kind of difficult personality? Yes. Yes, he is. Daime Yokai. It's like, it doesn't matter how many times she loses. She will be as prideful as ever. Huh? Well, yeah. Oh my. It would appear we both had to suffer through such individuals. But still. No matter how many times I replay that look she gave me in my head, it never gets old. Make sure you utterly embarrass her next time, too. That's an order from a celestial being, a species superior to yours. Don't let her off easy. Right. This trial's objective has gone weird. I could have just so done with all this bullshit. Huh? That's a long path. A strangely long path. Perfect kind of place to set traps. I better try going through only after getting some information. Come on now. What are you hesitating for? Proceed on ahead at once. Oh, what's that look for? Path is suspicious. You've got some good instincts. I knew it. There's some kind of trap, isn't there? It seems that little vampire Missy doesn't want to let you through here so easily. There are numerous charm magic circles on the path ahead. Charm magic circles? It's just as it sounds. You'll be charmed if you step on any of them. That little vampire Missy. She wants to catch you without having to do any actual work. How do I get through there? I'm not obligated to tell you that. Think about it yourself. I see. So even you don't know. Huh? I do know. I'm just not going to tell you. Don't give me that look. I bet you're thinking I have no idea what I'm talking about, aren't you? Alright, fine. I'll give you a hint. Look here. This is one of those charm magic circles. It's a trap that activates when you step on it. But there's a way to work out where one is before you step on them. Work out? By sound. Oh, I'm going to have to turn up the volume. This magic circle emits a certain sound. The sound is different depending on which direction the trap is. Sound. It's like the path across the bridge in the previous game. Thank you very much. That was really helpful. I'm sorry for doubting you. As long as you understand. Huh? I get the feeling I was just played like a fiddle. Okay. Okay, so if there's one to the left or the right, it makes a sharp sound. If there's one just ahead, it makes that sound. What's up this way? Oh, statue. Okay, just take your time, no rush. Okay, next to me. Okay, shortcut unlocked. Okay, next to me. Actually, let's... Okay, it's right there. Oh, I made a mistake. Being exposed to my sorcery feels good, does it not? Now come, you may approach. Compassionately lock your lips with me. Let us fall together. Huh? What just happened? Yep, that's probably going to come up later. But whatever. Can't believe I made a mistake like that. Alright, made it through. With only one fuck up. Let's go ahead and save. That reminds me, you said you were from India, right? Yes, that's right. I remember being told that vampire sounds from the West. So, how are we able to communicate? Did you both learn the language of my country? Yokai don't have something as silly as language barriers. For us yokai, our way of communicating is by transmitting our feelings as waves. The sound reaching my ears has the feelings extracted from it, and the sounds traveling from my mouth directly convey my thoughts to your spirit. I am not sure I understand, but essentially, I can think of it like whenever we say to each other is automatically translated, right? Translated? Don't use such boring phrases. We're using a kind of telepathy when we speak. Therefore, there's no need to worry about misunderstanding one another. That's basically it. So don't worry about language. Don't worry about language differences. And just get going with the talking, you get it? What was that just now? What do you mean? Well, the way you spoke just kind of crumbled. What a silly thing you're talking about. I ain't did nothing different. Huh? Something might be going wrong with the telepathy. Nya, nya, nya. Don't be giving me that queer look, you Sonny Jim. What? There, that. Don't you be giving me any of that guff. Okay. Random, but okay. The more focus level one has, the more vitality restored with home relief. But also more vitality lost from each attack. Well, I mean, my main concern is the vitality lost from the 3 charms. Using all during battle will just make Hakun use run over and over again. This can actually work if you have the right equipment. Okay. Blossoming Evasion is quite effective to use when enemies are unable to act. All of the books here are imaginary structures. Therefore, Anyone who turns their pages is able to read them regardless of their language. I'm not sure what you mean by all that, but you're saying that even I can read them, right? That's right. What's here are not actual book objects, but rather aggregations of meaning, aggregations of information, which is why anyone can read them. I think I get it. However, those who can't read, or to put it another way, those who lack the capacity for reading will not be able to read them. Meaning the fact that you can read these books means you must be literate. Yes. I was taught by my parents long ago, though it's not that great a feat. You're surprisingly scholarly. Then why don't you investigate these shelves to gather information? Don't spend too much time looking for the perverted books, though. I wasn't going to do that! Oh my, really? No using a writing brush to underline any lewd phrases you might come across either, okay? Underlining? What are you talking about? Who does that? I wouldn't do that kind of thing. Oh my, you've never done that? When I was a child, I'd go searching through books from the human realm. And I'd underline words like sex and lewd that I found. It gave me such an indescribable rash. That reminds me. I got in a lot of trouble once for dueling on some strange sutras. Strange sutras? Yes, this traveling band of people were carrying them around with them. They had so much writing. It was fun messing around with them. But things turned sour when I got caught. These big pig-faced slimy monkey men chased me all over the place. What was that big group even doing there anyways? I have no idea. Not rushing or being impatient during battles. A surefire shortcut to victory. Alright, check the bookshelves. Check. Complete charm is a technique that allows a vampire to seize the target's spirit and turn them into their servant. This powerful binding sorcery cannot be freely used by pure-blood vampires whenever they please. While there are issues around having enough stamina to perform the ritual, the primary reason is because the regulations imposed by others of their clan. The bureaucracy is what stops it. Those servants who have had eternal loyalty to their vampiric master instilled into them are not mere disposable minions who have been charmed into a vampire's service. They are granted an audience with others of the clan, and depending on circumstances may partake of vampire blood to become a half-vampire of the same clan. For that reason, it's said that there is an unspoken agreement among vampires to limit the number of such servants. So it can be said that when a vampire turns a human into their servant, it's their power they truly desire to have for themselves. The bureaucracy. A pure-blood's vampire's dress is a piece of magical equipment that assists in gathering blood and binding their victims. While it is an item of exceptional quality and power, it does have a glaring defect. It makes it difficult for the vampire to move quickly. Though vampires by their nature are not ones to dash about trying to capture prey. To put it another way, a vampire's legs are generally not much of a threat. Alright, don't need to bind the legs. But I have the 3 charms, it doesn't matter. If a vampire is serious about catching you, there's one aspect in particular to be careful of. and that is the sorcery they can unleash using their mouths. The magic within their voices can render humans at the mercy of a vampire's will. Even blocking one's ears isn't enough to be able to resist. However, what you should be the most wary of is their kiss. Vampires ascribe a special ritualistic significance to the act of kissing. Being that the mouth and tongue used to kiss are the same parts used to drain blood, they'll take the opportunity to inoculate the idea of becoming their servant into the target. Should they manage to use their mouths to force their magic directly down their target, it will be too late to resist. Submission will be inevitable at that point. Alright, block the mouths. I have the 3 charms. I don't have to worry. Female vampires, also known as temptresses, have special characteristics lacking in their male counterparts. Their seductive techniques are significantly more litigious than that of male vampires, and thus better at appealing to the lust of their targets. Their eyes, in particular, hold a large store of magic power. It's said that they can use them to confer a variety of effects on you should they wish to. They can bring those they wish to subjugate to their knees, or force those they wish to drain to submit and present their necks to them as prey. In her eyes dwells the emotional power of the vampire, so the stronger she is, the more difficult it is to resist her stare. You will be in for some difficulty if the vampire uses her eyes to endear herself to you. Her magical eyes, brimming with passion, will immediately turn you into her love slave and arouse sexual impulses that are very difficult to resist. A vampire's hunting methods are not what you would call active, but more passive in nature. They very quietly approach while their prey is unaware before draining their blood. The preferred method for taking blood is to attack those who are asleep. Perhaps because of this perchance, they have powerful magic used to induce a state of hypnotic lust. Then they leisurely approach the victim, whose mind is now in a haze, and drain their blood. However, these victims are lucky ones, should blood be the only thing on the vampire's mind. For vampires often have intentions other than feeding when at a victim's bedside. Should they wish to take you as their servant, they will cast charm magic that cannot be resisted amid the haze of the powerful sleep sorcery. There are few humans have seen the true abilities of a vampire. Therefore, should you find yourself the target of a vampire's hunt, there is something to be careful of that you should keep in mind. And that is forced focus. It can be also thought of a kind of forced meditation. Vampires adept at manipulating the human spirits use it to put their prey into a deep meditative state. For those affected by this technique, being in such a state is not necessarily a bad thing, but there is a danger that their vitality will be much easier to drain. Therefore, it is important to be diligent about venting the excess focus whenever a vampire induces such a state on you. Okay. So that's why I keep saying that the higher your focus is, the easier it is to drain you. A vampire's manservant is a human who has been enthralled by the charms of a denizen of the night. Regardless of gender, vampires will turn humans into love slaves using their devilish charms, early captivating the hearts of their new servants. This is no simple charm magic, but a variety of powerful hypnosis that they have developed to brainwash. The duties of such enthralled humans is to look after their master and furnish them with their blood. This work is particularly important during the day when their masters cannot move. Vampires with a special liking to a servant will take them as a lover and have them attend to their master during the night as well. In addition to the effects of the curse already applied to them, the servant will feel an ecstasy like no other by copulating with their master. Sounds like a hell of a deal to me. Alright, not there. Oh. Okay, yeah. Though normally a vampire's servants are humans who have been seduced and charmed with sorcery, there are occasionally humans who seek out such an arrangement at their own will. Many of these individuals are necromancers and wicked ascetics who possess a strong desire for immortality. Of course, there are also cases where humans have sought out this arrangement out of feelings of love for the vampire. Other than the examples above, there are scant few who would openly come forward as willing to offer their bodies in exchange for the pleasure of a night yokai. The poisonous pleasure of having one's blood slowly drained out while held in their embrace and showered with yokai energy through their intense gaze. It would seem to be in our nature to be so strongly fascinated by them after having been their prey for such a long time. Alright. Oh. In order to create the inviolable connection with a vampire as master and servant, a special ritual is required. A breach must be created within the strong spirit of a human being to instill the eternal loyalty of the completed charm. This involves the arousal of powerful emotions within the target. The exact method of doing so varies significantly from vampire to vampire. It can involve using fear to render the target mentally incapacitated before applying the sorcery, or even using torture to crush their spirit beforehand. Using such methods to shake the foundations of the target's spirit will increase the effectiveness of the subsequent complete charm ritual. More lewd-minded vampires prefer to use so-called night banquets to conduct the ritual. This method involves using a combination of aphrodisiac sorcery and pleasure to make the target's will waver before making them into their servant while copulating. Through the mouth-to-mouth infusion of yokai energy, known as the Devil's Oath Kiss, the vampire pours this energy into the target, charming their body down to their marrow. Those turned into servants in this way are usually already in love with the vampire, or have volunteered to undergo the ritual of their own free will. Alright.